Assalamualaikum, very good morning. Okay, today I'm going to present a short slide related to high fidelity prototypes. High fidelity prototypes is referring to the prototype that you are currently working on for this semester. Remember, you have developed your low fidelity prototype in the previous semester, right? So, in this semester, you are going to continue doing it to make it more complete with whatever requirement that you have specified in your proposal. Okay, this slide is covering on low fidelity a bit and also on high and this content is actually based on um, an article written by Nelson Norman Group, um, whereby Nelson is actually an expert in usability and also in design. Um, all right. What is a testable prototype? Okay, so when you are designing your system up until this point of time, you are basically has come up with a design solution, right, to whatever problem that you have defined earlier. So now that you have your design solution, we want to see whether does it really works. Okay, so one way of doing it is to watch how user using it. All right, when you're doing prototype, there are actually many types. um, Maybe you can start with a single page. It depends on the kind of system that you are developing. Maybe as a start, you can only start with a single page. Normally, a single page prototype is designed for experts. Okay, because if you are an expert, you normally want to have most of the functionality in one page compared to multiple pages. Okay, for those who are new to that system, they normally want the screen to be slightly simpler. Okay, so that they can look one thing at a time. And then depending whether it's a single page or multiple page, uh, normally it comes along with menus that you can click, different screens and different buttons, okay, that you can use in order to complete a task. For example, you want to create a prototype for a system that allows the user to register. Okay, so you design, of course, I think maybe you can register in one page, right? Or you might have it in multiple pages. It depends on the kind of data that you are going to collect. Okay, another form of prototype is that it can either be a realistic and detailed one, or it can be in the form of hand sketches on papers. Okay, you can have several pieces of paper, A4 paper. One paper is a screen, and then you sketch it, okay, on that paper compared to the realistic and detailed one, right? And another form of prototype is the prototype that is interactive or clickable. I think most of you, when you did it, your project in the last semester, most of you are doing this interactive, clickable. Okay, one button moving it to another page, or it can be in the form of static, whereby um, there are screens, but the movement from one page to another page is done by a person. Okay, that person is having a role as a computer. Okay, so it can either be single page or multiple page. It can be realistic or hand sketch, or it can be interactive or static. Okay, the choices of prototype actually depends on the goal of your testing that you want to do. Um, or whether you want it to be able to see the complete design. It also depends on the tools that you are using. Okay, most of you use a tool that allow you to produce an interactive page straight away. And also whatever resources that you have before and during the test that you want to do. All right. When you hear the word fidelity, it actually refers to how closely it matches look and feel of the final system. When you mention about fidelity, it can be in terms of the interactivity, in terms of the visual, or in terms of the content and all right. Let's recap what you have learned before in low fidelity and compare it with high fidelity. Right. You can see it in several aspects. The first one is in terms of interactivity. Okay. If you are designing a high fidelity, that is what you are going to do in the semester. Make sure that the menus, the button is clickable. As many, if you have many menus and buttons, make sure that most of them are working right now. Okay, because right now you are doing high fidelity compared to low fidelity, where maybe you have buttons but it does not move from one page to another. It does not have any target. The second aspect, in terms of interactivity, you can see in terms of automatic responses to the user actions, meaning that if you click on a link, it should bring you straight away to the intended pages. Okay, whereby when you are doing low fidelity, the screens are presented to the user in the real time. Okay, it does not actually bring you to the actual page. It does not automatically respond to the user. Alright, in terms of visual, when you do high fidelity, because you already have the graphics there ready, right? They have the form ready with the text field, the drop down box. Okay, so you are able to have the feel of how you want to put or control the layout of the page. Okay, so it is better presented to you compared to low fidelity, because normally it can either be in the form of hand sketch, maybe it's only black and white sketches. Okay, maybe there is supposed to be an image there, but maybe you simply label it. All right, so in terms of the spacing also, because it's a hand sketch, maybe you cannot control it properly, right? Also, in the third aspect, when you're comparing between high fidelity and low fidelity, it can also be different in terms of the content. Okay, so when you are doing high fidelity, most of the time the content is actually there, right? If you want to, let's say you are designing online shopping apps, maybe you need to put the images of the product with some description already there compared to when you do low fidelity. What is the good thing about having high fidelity when you are designing something? Okay, the first benefit is that because you're creating an almost ready system, it has especially in terms of high fidelity interactivity, so the system is able to respond fast as to is a fully ready system. Okay, compared to the one um, compared to the one where you are using static fidelity, where there is somebody playing the role of a computer, turning one page to another. Okay, it's slightly slow. It's not reflecting the actual implementation of a system. Right? The benefit is that with high fidelity interactivity and also visual, you can actually experience the real workflow, and you can see how your UI components look like, especially the menus. When you click, does it bring you to the right page? Okay, with the graphic elements that you have, does it look nice? at the right place with the right font. Okay. And also, the third benefit is that high fidelity prototypes often look like live software to user. It look like real software to user. Okay, let's say if you ask somebody to test your um, application later on when you are doing your field testing, most of the respondent or your user will enjoy testing real software, meaning that fully working software rather than if you present them things which is on a piece of paper where you keep on flipping from one page to another. Okay. The fourth benefit is high fidelity interactivity frees the designer to focus on observing the test instead of thinking about what should come next. As I mentioned to you just now, if you are using a static prototype where there is a person in charge um, moving from one page to another page when a button is being clicked, so it actually make the designer less focused on what to test the system. Okay, because he's so busy moving the pages on behalf of the computer. Okay, and the fifth benefit is um, because it is automate kind of system, maybe almost 100% automate. It's likely that human error can be reduced. Okay, because you already plan. Okay, when this button is being clicked, it should be open another page or it should display a certain kind of report. Okay, so most probably you can reduce the error compared to if you use a person who is playing the role of a computer. So after maybe uh, a couple of minutes doing all sorts of processes, clicking from one page to another, maybe that person might forget where to go next. Okay, if you want to know more about high fidelity, there are actually many articles that you can read. One of it is this. There are actually also many software that you can use. The one that you are currently using also, for example, if you are developing a mobile apps, most of you are using Android Studio, right? Maybe some of you who are developing website might be using NetBeans or any HTML editor. Okay, anything that help you to do the screen or the interface design is actually can. This is another one that maybe you can have, and that's the end of the presentation. I hope that you can start developing your high fidelity prototype, continue to what you have done in the previous semester, and later on when it's ready, you can proceed with the field test. All right, thank you so much.